Sheriffs are using facial recognition on a journalist that they are surveilling. Let that sink in. Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Please take a second and hit the like button and share this video wherever you can so as many people as possible can see it, because this needs to be exposed. I have a group chat, a secret group chat within the Sheriff's Department of Lake County, Illinois. The backstory is this is the sheriff's deputy who forced me to erase my footage under threat of arrest when I was in Illinois filming at the probation office. He told me you have two options: one, be arrested for obstruction of justice; two, erase your footage. At the time, I could not take the arrest, so I erased the footage under duress. I'm going to read you his report that he wrote, but I was also sent these group text messages. I'll show you right here. Let's get right into it. All right, right here. I hope everybody, let me see if I can see the chat. Thank you all for joining me again. So right here, we have 8 people in this group chat here. It says text group channels CID1. That's me sitting outside of the court officers, the sheriff's, the court officers division for the Lake County Sheriff's Department in Illinois. That's me sitting right outside of their office waiting to speak to the deputy chief, Cavelli. And for those of you who don't remember, really quickly, again, I'll leave a link to the live stream that I did where I explained everything about this situation. Unfortunately, I don't have the body camera footage. We'll talk about that in a second. But what I do have here, let's see. Everybody was served. I filed a lawsuit immediately regarding this incident. And I don't know if you guys could see. There we go. Everybody was served. Here are the summonses for the federal lawsuit that I've already filed. Now let's get back to this group chat here. Absolutely insane. All right, so there's 8 people in this group chat. I don't know. I didn't request any internal communications. I don't believe. I believe I just requested the communications between the officer who threatened to arrest me if I didn't delete the footage, Deputy Bassi, and Cavelli, who ordered him to do so. But you see here, this is them. They took a picture of me. We go to the next right here. Can you guys see this okay? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys can read this entire text conversation right here. Just want to make sure. All right. I'm going to assume everybody could see it. Good. All right. So they sent this map here. There we go. Perfect. They sent this map here after sending, and the first thing they sent was just text group channel CID1 with a picture of me. Then they sent this map here of this. This is like the area that I was in Lake County, right by the courthouse. And then MB, Michael Bassi, who is the deputy who violated my constitutional rights, my First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, and 14th Amendment of due process by forcing me to erase footage off of my phone. He's talking to Deputy Chief Cavelli now, across from the court security office. I'll text which direction he heads. I will text which direction he heads. Again, then LL, who is Lana Lemons, request for facial recognition sent. Request, I'll say that again, request for facial recognition sent. They're using facial recognition over a journalist, taking pictures and videos in public. Just walked down to the first floor, hallway, north end. Cordial convo with DC, with the Deputy Chief Cavelli. Of course I had a cordial conversation with him. I'm not a confrontational kind of guy. I was cordial when I had the conversation with him. Michael Bassi headed back south over the bridge, excuse me, crossing now, because there's like this, just to give you guys some sort of, visual here, there's like a passageway that you can go over. It's like a sky bridge type of deal. I'm going to shift CW, who is Colin Warren. I'm going to shift. And then Chris Dewitt said, Sean Paul Reyes is a possible name. And then they send this picture of a New York Post article featuring me from a long time ago. This is sick. This is absolutely sick. And then it goes on to say, about to exit South Lobby. Michael Bassi, exiting now. And then Colin Warren, eyes on. Eyes on. We got eyes on him. He's heading down exit south lobby, exiting now, eyes on him. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. They must not have anything better to do than to follow around an independent journalist. And then somebody makes this, Lana Lamons makes this nice little collage here with this picture of me and the New York Post article picture of me. And then Kevin, let me make sure I read his name right. Kevin Eckenstaller says direction. And then somebody, whoever's the, whose group chat this is, says, we're all good. That's him. He called into court admin, no further needed. Thank you all. And then this is the rental car that I had. Colin Warren sends a picture of the rental vehicle I was driving. Again, I was in Illinois. This was the Chrysler Pacifica I got from National Rent-A-Car. And then it goes on to say, see, we're running the plate now. Thumbs up emoji. And then this is all redacted by Lana Lamons and this other person here, CW. This is all redacted. They didn't tell me why it was redacted. I would love to see what's under this redaction. And then Lana Lamons says, thanks, everyone. And then this was a separate chat right here from Michael Bassi, the deputy who forced me to erase my footage under threat of arrest. This guy is sitting across the court security office, just FYI. And then the deputy chief says, perfect. It is insane, Claudette. It is insane. Shout out to all the We the People members, the Patriots who signed up through the channel membership. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to show you guys now the narrative that was written. Again, I don't have the body camera footage because they're saying that they cannot release the body camera footage because apparently the footage was recorded inside of a courthouse, which we weren't inside of the courthouse. That's the whole point. But it was recorded inside of a courthouse or an environ of the courthouse. And apparently that they cannot give that to me. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can't get it with a FOIA request, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get it with this federal lawsuit we filed. Everybody's been served. I have spoken to the attorneys on record who are representing these people. They wanted an extension. I graciously said that I wouldn't oppose. So I will keep you updated on that as well. Let's see here, guys. Let's move on to, I want to show you the narrative that was written by Deputy Michael Bassi. Let me make sure I have it all right here. All right, let's bring it up. Boop. All right, I know you guys probably can't see this. I'll zoom in a little bit on this one. All right, so Lake County Sheriff's Office field case report. Occurred incident type, disorderly conduct. I mean, okay. And then it says statute description, indirect criminal contempt, 720 ILCS. And then it says completed here. This is the address where we were at, the Environ, the probation department that was across the street from the courthouse, not even inside the courthouse. They have the suspect name. They had gotten all my information. Again, was that whole group chat surveillance necessary? I don't think so. I mean, you can pretty much figure out who I am pretty easily. I don't think we need to go the facial recognition route. So I'll read you his narrative right here. On 5/23/25, I, Deputy Bassi, while working a court security hire back at the Lake County Courthouse located in Illinois, responded to the Lake County Adult Probation Facility regarding suspect Reyes Jean Paul, recording within the confines of the building. Upon arrival on foot to the adult probation office, I spoke with Jeff Ross, Assistant Director of Adult Probation. He is also in the lawsuit, who informed me that he called into the Court Security Dispatch Center to report that Reyes was recording video footage via his cellular device within the confines of the Adult Probation Office, which is prohibited per 19th Judicial Circuit Court Order 21-09. So I'm going to pull up this court order so that way we can read it together. Judicial Order 21-09. Because it's not specifically prohibited. That's a lie. But anyway, let me make sure I have it up here. I want to find the actual order. Oh, it's annoying. Anyway, let's keep reading this really quick. I spoke with Reyes, who was actively recording on his cell phone during our interaction while inside the adult probation office. I could visually see Reyes recording on his cell phone while he meandered around the adult probation office, and Reyes admitted that he was recording for a story he was writing. That is very true. Got a lot of complaints on that probation office. I told Reyes that he was not allowed to record inside the adult probation pursuant to administrative court order, and he stated it was his constitutional right, very true, to record, and that he was doing so for journalistic gain and protected in doing so under his constitutional rights. I pointed out that the large sign that had the judicial order clearly posted on the wall. Okay, this is the first lie told by Deputy Bassi. I can't wait to bring all this out in federal court. I pointed out the large sign that had the judicial order clearly posted on the wall. That's not true. The large sign had text saying it was prohibited to recording according to a court order. You cannot record according to this court order. That is not the court order. The court order you can pull up by scanning with your camera, ironically enough. You can scan a QR code on the sign. So the sign itself is not a court order. You can bring up the court order by scanning the QR code. So that's very important when we're dealing with these kinds of things. I pointed a large sign that judicial order clearly posted on the wall while he was standing, at which time we both read over it in details. He attached orders posted, additional documents detailing the order. Reyes acknowledged seeing the signs posted by the 19th Judicial Circuit Court prohibiting recording in this building, describing what other buildings in court environs were also protected by this order. So the order goes and says you cannot record inside of the courthouse and environs, and it lists the environs as jury rooms, hallways, rooms adjacent to courthouses. It does not say the adult probation department is an environ of the courthouse, especially it's across the street. I mean, it's not even the same building. But the sign, again, the sign that was printed out by somebody having nothing to do with the actual text of the court order 2109 does describe the probation department as an environ. But again, the court order doesn't. Very important. And this is what the Deputy Bassi wouldn't get through his, he wouldn't comprehend it. Let's see here. It describes, yes, it does describe the probation department in the sign, not the court order. And reading the court rules and administrative orders, I asked Reyes if he had permission of the 19th Judicial Circuit to record inside the court environs, and he stated he did not. Reyes walked over to the large and clearly posted sign inside the adult probation lobby, which outlines the provisions of the administrative order and defined what constitutes the environs of the Judicial Circuit. Again, the sign did define what an environ is, but the order itself, which I'm going to bring up here, I'm going to try and find it. The order itself does not. Oh, it does actually. It says that an environ is hallways adjacent to jury rooms, things of that nature. So again, it's not clear at all. Reyes then stated he had read the administrative order prior to even coming to the building this morning. I never once said that. This guy, he watched his body cam, as you'll see here at the end. He says, I watched my body camera. Reyes then stated that he had read the administrative order prior to even coming to the building this morning. I don't remember saying that. I'm not going to say for sure yes or no, but I don't remember saying that because I wasn't aware of that order. So I have no idea what he's talking about. I definitely didn't say that because I wasn't aware of the order. He's lying. I could still see that Reyes was continuing to record on his cell phone while we discussed the matter, despite acknowledging the issue revolving around it. Again, not true. I informed Reyes that per order 2109, he was in direct violation of said order and that he was not allowed to record. Reyes continued to question my explanation of why he was not allowed to record in the adult probation office. Reyes continued to dispute the standing order and said it was in violation of his constitutional rights. So I advised him multiple times to take it up with the 19th Judicial Circuit Court. Let's go up here. Narrative continued. I asked Reyes to delete the footage he had captured in violation of the standing administrative court order. Otherwise, he could be subject to arrest. You didn't ask me anything, Deputy Bassi, Deputy Michael Bassi. Let me make sure I have your name right. You didn't ask me anything. You ordered me. I was going to leave because I told him, hey, I'm not familiar with this order. This is why I don't know how I said I was familiar with the order. I said, I'm not familiar with it. Reading it now, it doesn't sound like it applies to the probation department, but there is a sign that says it does. You know, I don't really understand it. So I'm going to go consult with my attorney and we'll figure this out later. And he says, no, you're not free to leave. He detained me. And he says, you have to delete your recording. So that's how that went down. He didn't ask me, you know, none of that happened. Otherwise, he could be subject to arrest and that his phone could be seized as evidence of the violation. Reyes acknowledged that he could not record pursuant to the order. What? Reyes acknowledged that he could not record pursuant to the order. When did I do that? This guy, I swear, law enforcement agencies across the country are amazing at creative writing. Amazing. But stated he needed notice of the order to be in violation. During the entire interaction, even after being put on notice, again, notice is being served with the order, Deputy Bassi, not you just telling me some order exists and that an environ of the court is the probation office when in the order it doesn't say that. Reyes continued recording within the court environ. Reyes and I exited the adult probation office and continued our conversation directly in front of the entrance to the adult probation office. And this is the footage, even if they're saying they can't give me the footage from inside of this environ, the Department of Probation or the courthouse, they definitely should be able to give me this on the public sidewalk, the body camera footage, but they're refusing to. So I'm going to appeal their decision. Reyes continued to record and disagree with the legality of the ruling, stated inside the premises and requested to speak with my supervisor. In asking Reyes to delete the footage he captured in violation of the order, I advised him that in doing so, there would be no further need to take any law enforcement action related to this matter. However, Reyes' refusal to do so could result in the need to seize his device as evidence and pursue a criminal charge against him, which I was attempting to avoid. Reyes asked if he was being detained, and I explained to him that he was, as I was investigating this matter. At this time, Reyes and I were talking in a conversational tone because I'm never aggressive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm never the one instigating anything. It's just ridiculous. And I was the only deputy officer on the scene with him as we further discussed the matter. I did not physically restrain Reyes in any way, nor did I attempt to crowd him. I mean, that's kind of irrelevant, Deputy Bassi. You told me I was being detained. I said, am I free to leave or am I being detained? And you said you're being detained. You saying those words, you're being detained, is enough for me to not have to, I can't move. I'm being detained. So I don't know what all this other extra stuff means or what you're trying to say. I contacted Deputy Chief Cavelli, who is part of the lawsuit that we filed here. Michael Bassi, Jeff Ross, Christopher Cavelli, and Lake County, Illinois. I contacted Deputy Chief Cavelli and relayed what had transpired. Yeah, because I told you to contact him. That's why you contacted him. To which he offered his support in terms of possible actions that could be taken to given the circumstances. Deputy Chief Cavelli was unavailable to arrive on scene and agreed to meet with Reyes at a later time, 13:30 hours, which I conveyed to Reyes and told him that that's where they took the picture of me in their group chat. I would show him where to meet DC Cavelli. That again, creative writing, ladies and gentlemen. He called the deputy chief, and then he gets off of the phone because I told him to, because I was like, you cannot force me to delete footage from my phone. But apparently this is a pattern of practice of them. This is what they do normally to people. They tell people to delete footage from their phone, even though that is not a requirement in the court order. Where I was filming was not specifically detailed in the court order. Just a big and utter mess. And he gets off the phone with the deputy chief and he says, Mr. Reyes, my chief told me, it's exactly what he says. My chief says you have two options. One, you be arrested for obstruction of justice. You know how earlier it said indirect contempt of court? That's what he keeps referencing to. No, he said, you're going to be arrested. My chief says you have two options. You're going to be arrested for obstruction of justice, and your phone is going to be seized. Your camera will be seized, or you delete the footage from your phone. Those are your only options at this time, and you are being detained. You are not free to leave. That's what happened. But again, he doesn't say that in here. I presented Reyes with the option to delete the recordings, the option he created on his cell phone while inside the adult probation office. You know, it's a hell of an option. Hey, do this, or I am going to take your property, put you in handcuffs, and take you to jail. Hell of an option. I mean, that seems like a pretty free and clear option. I had a choice, right? No, I didn't. It was under duress. I presented Reyes with the option to delete the recordings created on his cell phone while inside the adult probation office, and I clearly explained to him that it was deemed to be in direct violation of a standing judicial order prohibiting any photographic/video recordings from being created while inside said facility as stipulated by Order 2109. More specifically, to the fact that as listed in the order, he was shown, first, you didn't show me any order, that the environment he recorded inside of was the adult probation. That is the first environment listed within the order. Again, I'm trying. I know you guys don't understand exactly what's going on because we don't have the body camera footage, and my footage was erased. But what he's failing to mention is the sign that is making this adult probation an order is just a sign. It's not the order. The order itself does not list the adult probation lobby as an environ. That's just not true. He keeps saying that, but it's just not true. I'm going to pull up the order so you can see he's lying. Or maybe he's just not comprehending. I further explained to Reyes that if he did not comply with deleting the recordings, that he could be cited and that his cell phone will be seized as evidence. After reviewing my body-worn camera footage, I realized I informed Reyes that he would be cited for obstruction. However, well, that's true. I just told you that. However, the proper criminal charge I later discovered to be indirect criminal contempt of court. Michael Bassi. Then it says, while I had probable cause to seize Reyes' phone for evidence, he agreed to delete the footage to dissipate any further suspicions that he violated the court order. What? That's not, no. In my mind, I didn't violate the court order. I'm going to find this order, 2109. I'm going to pull up this order. In my mind, I didn't violate the court order. I had no notice of the order. I had no idea. The minute I read the order, it didn't mention the probation. So no. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Reyes held his phone in a way so that I could see the screen to show himself deleting. I deleted the video and then I was like, okay, I'm leaving, right? This is what happened. Again, he's leaving out key details. And then I went to go walk to that minivan and he says, no. I've been doing this a long time. Again, deleting people's footage from their phone under threat of arrest. And he says, I've been doing this for a long time. Go to your recently deleted. I explained to Reyes I was only concerned with the footage that was captured inside the adult probation building. Well, then why did you have me delete the footage that was outside of the building as well on the sidewalk? That's another lie. And was not concerned about any other videos. You went through all my videos. You checked each of my videos to make sure. I ensured the footage was deleted. I ensured the footage was deleted by Reyes by asking him to delete the recordings from his recently deleted recordings folder to ensure that they could not be restored. Once satisfied, the footage was deleted from Reyes' phone. Reyes was free to leave without any further criminal action being taken, and he walked away from me. My body-worn camera was utilized during this incident and reviewed prior to writing this report. End of report. All right, so now we have to find this judicial order because we need to see it. Oh, here it is right here. Let's see. First of all, it's like an order that's like has to do with body camera footage, ladies and gentlemen. Let me there we go. I love doing live streams. How you guys doing tonight? You guys look great out there. I see you. All right, we have the order right here. This is the order. Now, remember everything I just told you. I don't want to have to keep, saying it over and over again. Just remember everything I told you and everything he said about this order, because it's just not true. All right, so this is the Administrative Order 21-09. See, it was entered in March 11th, 2021. Whereas, except for cases directed by Supreme Court order, local administrative order, or in which extended media coverage is permitted, the 19th Judicial Circuit Court local rules prohibit the photography, videotaping, audio recording, televising, or broadcasting of events and activities in a courtroom or its environs. And activities in a courtroom or its environs. So we're clear. Okay. courtroom or its environs. Let's be clear. And before that day, I really never heard the word environ, just so you understand. I mean, I'm being completely serious. And whereas 50, LILCS created the Law Enforcement Body Worn Camera Act and became effective January 2016. Again, it talks about some more body cameras, includes a provision that body camera is to be on at all times when an officer is uniform, engaged in any law enforcement. Then it goes down to say the court believes that these two provisions conflict and clarification is required to avoid any confusion. Illinois Supreme Court rule is amended in part. This rule is not intended to prohibit local circuit courts from using security cameras to monitor their facility. Whereas the Illinois Supreme Court order also provided in part all recordings from security cameras monitoring court facilities are the property of the local circuit courts and are deemed to be in the possession of the local circuit courts, notwithstanding actual possession by another party. So this is how they're denying the body camera footage. The sheriff's department has the body camera footage, but they're saying it belongs to the circuit court. Therefore, it's not subject to FOIA. But it probably will be subject to a discovery request in the lawsuit, so stay tuned for that. Whereas video images captured on body camera footage, 19th Judicial Circuit Court facility, courtroom, or its environs are court security video. Then it vacates a previous order. Again, it talks about courtrooms, environs. It is further ordered that if an emergency situation arrives that necessitates the court security officer to activate his or her body camera, the court security officer may do so immediately. It is further ordered that the court security officers may activate their camera once they are ordered. They are ordered to remand a defendant to jail. It keeps going on. I'm not going to get it. It keeps talking. This order is really about body camera footages, as you can see. It's about, sheriff's deputies in the courthouse, court security, and their body camera footages, security camera footages. That's what this is really about, or at least in the majority of it. I'm not going to read all this. Wait, where is it? Okay, look, this is important. It is further ordered that the court security officers in the 19th Judicial Circuit courtroom or its environs, ready? 19th Judicial Circuit courtroom or its environs, which includes, but is not limited to, the private and public hallways, rooms immediately adjacent to said hallways, and the jury assembly and deliberation room, or otherwise in the court facility. So that is the only place in this entire order. And then the order is right here by Diane Winter. Thanks for being she's not the chief judge there anymore, but thanks for being a tyrant, I guess, and hating transparency in courtrooms. But anyway, as you could see, it doesn't identify environ in any one of these things, as the deputy stated, that it's apparently a Dutch. Do you see any words that say adult probation lobby? No, because that's not true. That's not what it says. So for him to say that the court order, because we're looking at it right here, he said 2109 in his narrative, for him to say that the court order specifically states that a probation lobby is part of this environ, that's not true. That's a lie. It says, which includes private and public hallways, rooms immediately adjacent to said hallways, and the jury assembly and deliberation rooms. So anyway, guys, so that's just so we're clear on exactly where we are today. I thought it was really interesting to see. Just dropping to show some love and support. Thanks, Diesel Doozy. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. The cameras protect rights. Thank you so much. Thank you for the double sticker. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I was followed. I was surveilled. They used facial recognition, all because I was taking pictures and video in a public lobby of probation, which I was told the only reason I was there is because I was given tips that it was a horrible probation office, that they treat people with such disrespect. They don't try and help anybody. Let me bring up all these. Donald Ferguson, thank you so much. Cameras protect rights, thank you. Sona, thank you for gifting Long Island Audit memberships. Appreciate it. Cameras protect again. Hey, Sean, Norfolk, Virginia, the courthouse doesn't even allow cell phones when you enter. Is that a violation? So judges judges have way too much power. I'll just say that. Love what you do, Sean. You're the best. Thank you. If you ever need anything, let me know. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Diesel Ducey, just want to make sure I thank everybody. Much love, show. I'm a member for 13 months. That's pretty cool, Somper. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, this is exactly what happened. Should we look at before I get out of here, the the court orders again? I mean the group chat, it's sick. It's sick. Surveilling a journalist, having this group chat, following me around public, taking pictures of me. Again, I'm in public. I don't care. But I will say, I was in the actual courthouse when that picture was taken of me. Let me bring it up. When that picture was taken of me. So whoever took that picture was in violation of the court order for sure, because you weren't you were actually in the environment that was listed in the court order. So we could bring it up right here just so we're clear. We might need to find out who took this picture. Let's see. See this? Hold on. You see this picture of me? It's a beautiful picture of me. I was very upset because I just gotten threatened with obstruction of justice and being put in a jail cell and have my property seized or erase the footage. And again, I have my reasons, personal reasons. Maybe I'll divulge those. But I was pretty angry at the time, as you could see in my facial expression. And that's why this federal lawsuit was immediately filed and served on the 4 individuals involved, including the county itself. I have been contacted by the attorneys, and I will keep you updated on when depositions are for that. So where I'm sitting right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is, let's make sure we get a good thing. This is actually inside the courthouse. Brian Bowley, thank you so much for the super sticker, man. Appreciate you. This is in the courthouse. So Chris Dewitt right here. You are in violation of a standing court order, my friend. So you should probably get that checked out. Again, just ridiculous, guys. I got these in an email and I couldn't believe it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Look at this. They found a New York Post article about me, request for facial recognition. He's heading over, just walked down the first floor. I got to admit, I didn't see them following me. I guess they were following me with, security camera footage. And then they ran my plates on the rental cars. You could see here. It's just a whole big thing. I can't wait to keep you guys updated on this lawsuit. This is ridiculous. Hopefully, this moves along pretty quickly because, oh man, what kind of world are we living in when journalists are followed, surveilled, facial recognition software used, all types of craziness. But anyways, guys, I appreciate all the support. Thank you. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to all my Patreon. Shout out to everybody who supports the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button and share this video anywhere you can so we can expose these tyrants to the world. Make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss future videos. I recently did a training in Chatham County, Georgia, in Savannah, Georgia, with the district attorney's office. I'll be uploading that video shortly. So make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss it. Thank you guys again. As always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next video. Long Island Audit. Peace.